Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Isle of the Damned. This week we will be continuing off where we last left off in the previous session, with our epilogue for this series. To kind of give you an idea of what's been going on, originally, last week was supposed to be the finale, Ragnarok. However, things got a little off the rails and things ran a little long, so this is our way of bringing everything to a close and bringing our story towards a point where it will then jump off into the next arc with Isle of Ragnarok. But before that, why don't we jump in with some introductions? This week, why don't we start off with Rebecca? Why don't you give us your intro?
Hi, my name's Rebecca, and I play Keeper Sister Iris, and I'm currently a smuggling bride into a catacomb with a delightful Snorri.
Getting all the assistance you need. Speaking
Praying for more.
of Snorri, Drew, why don't you give us your introduction?
Hi everybody, I'm Drew, and it's been a pleasure playing this series. I can't wait for the next one. I've been playing Snorri, the now approved and announced Lamie, and he is leading both Bride and Sister Iris down into the catacombs and crypts to keep them safe away from whatever is going on at the gates.
Very nice. Hopefully doing a good job. We'll have to see how things will go. With that, why don't we move to Blue? Why don't you give us your introduction?
Hello, everyone. I'm Blue, and tonight, at least for another few seconds, I will be playing Prince Gwynedd of Peel, your Zamitzi stepdad.
Very nice. And we'll have to see how long Stepdad remains in charge with the arrival of a new force.
Yep.
With that, why don't we visit another of the beasts that have arrived at the gates? Thomas, why don't you introduce yourself for us?
Hello, I am Thomas, and I will be playing Randolph, Sheriff of Peel, and now, avatar of something greater than the gangrel he once was.
Oh, yes. We'll have to learn more about that during today's epilogue. But with that, we move to our last remaining canines, but certainly not the least, and currently not in great shape. Mars, why don't you give us your introduction?
Hello, everyone. I am Mars, and I am playing Maud, the Valkyrie and Aramanes. Unconscious, also. Not doing great.
I've got you on my back, don't worry, you're good.
Currently missing about half her torso and her arm. So, you know,
It's
not
easy
going
to
great.
carry.
Yeah, a little lighter than she started off.
Like a little backpack.
Not how we want to lose weight.
When
Yeah.
we start selling merch, we can sell a little half mod backpack.
Yeah, a little half more.
I hate that.
Oh, that's
I
so
hate
funny.
it.
And I am your storyteller, Mark, aka the CatsMeow, and this is my channel. In news, we recently became affiliated. We're now kind of noticed on Twitch, and we can make a little bit of money. And by a little bit of money, I mean not that much, but every little bit helps. You can also subscribe if you want to help us even more and get access to some more stuff that I will be adding in the coming weeks. Unique emotes, blah 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 blah, whatever I think to add, and I'll probably do a full run through later on. But if you do want to subscribe, it is appreciated. Oh, we got our first subscriber. Vivid.
How do you pronounce that?
I'm not sure how that's pronounced. ViViDBs?
No,
ViViDBs?
me.
But
Six
thank you to that.
bees.
Yeah. Thank you to
Yeah.
that
Yes,
helpful
there we go,
stranger.
6-6.
Yeah, helpful stranger, exactly.
Helpful stranger. But yes, I hope you are ready and excited for today's events. With that, why don't we jump right in? Starting off with some music.
Music. Okay.
Trying to see if it can be heard. People can hear the music, right? Oh, there it is.
Ooh,
In the roll 20, not at the moment.
I can
I
hear it in the
can.
roll
Now I can.
20.
I can hear it.
All right. Cool. With that, who would like
Not
to
in the
lead
Twitch, though.
the final recap?
I'm prepared, but it is up to y'all.
Hey, not like
Go
we're
ahead.
getting willpower back. I'm up for anything.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
with
go
anyone.
for it,
If you would like it,
folks.
you can go
Yeah.
for it.
I got
Thomas, your
the notes
voice is
all.
more pleasant to listen to than mine, so feel free.
Oh, thank you. But yes, in that case, let me very quickly.
Tell us
Go to
all
the
the horrible
thing.
things you did last week.
No.
Yes.
Yep.
To begin, I will note and probably start off with the battle in full swing, with the great child of Odin, Gangrel Methuselah, rising from the earth and offering a hand up to Randolph, calling him a shield brother, readying him for the hunt. Seeing this, our guest, Emily, playing Rorik of the Guru, saw this and, well, she read into it in a certain way. So she and her 5 werewolf companions, which became 4, as she sent one to get the rest and to come back and to finish the work that was done. She took 4 of her groups and slaughtered her way across the battlefield, coming into the clearing with words of invective on her lips, and a fight began, but not a conventional fight, as Maud's opponent, the Irish lady, saw what was happening and flew the fuck away very wisely. Randolph's opponent, the giant, jumped over the hole in the earth and decided to challenge him to a fight, and all of the werewolves went against the Methuselah, with Maud acting as support. It was bloody, it was brutal, and as strong as the werewolves were, they were not as strong as the son of Odin. And Maud, despite managing to grapple him for a little bit, he was a little too fast, he was much too quick, and he was very, very strong, tearing into her and doing almost enough damage to completely one-shot one of the toughest PCs. Now, where was Randolph? Randolph killed the guy pretty quickly and then started to eat his body, and that's why he didn't join in the fight. Rorik, drained of all her blood, called Randolph a coward, with the very last of her breath, as she saw within him something writhing and dark and terrible. Randolph didn't really feel he had to listen to a dead person. He was better than a dead person. Picked up Maud and headed back to town, drawn there by an unspeakable purpose, and also to drop off his pal. Meanwhile, within the town, as Snorri was arriving, Gwyneth was heading out. Gwyneth himself, readying a defense as he saw the apostate Salubri with a bleeding third eye, and indeed Sir Oliver leading an attack around the gates. Gwyneth's strength of Koldunic sorcery and vicissitude, thoughtfully applied in certain cases, did lead to him surviving a good number of turns and stalemate with the green balefire of the Barley. but he received help from an unexpected quarter, or expected by some, as Sister Iris's diplomatic ventures paid off. And in came What's-His-Face, whose name I can't remember, and I'm very
Eamon.
sorry.
I wrote
Then
Eamon.
came
It's
Eamon
in
of the
the notes.
Fuhrers.
Aemon.
So I was just
His
doing this
name is
freehand.
Aemon.
Oh,
Aemon.
Eamon.
Then in came Aemon, brutally joining the fight and helping win it in Gwyneth's favor. However, a silence fell over the din of the battle as something approached the gates. But we move away from that, as indeed within the cathedral, as Iris was tending to the people, Snorri arrives, this time looking for Bride, and with nothing standing in his way, including not a regular wooden door, what is that? Snorri bust down the lock, knocking the wooden door to splinters, and saw, in fact, Bride entranced by the serpent-like eyes of Amir, not, in fact, a member of the Banu Hakim, but a Setite, as we discovered the episode prior. A dialogue began, and then a fight began. With Amir being a little too quick, but Snorri, for an incredible amount of strength in those brittle old bones, it was a stalemate until Amir decided to go for broke, grab Bride, and run away. Running past even Iris, who brought shadow tentacles to try and grab him or Bride, whichever, but he was a little too fast. But not fast enough to beat the both of them in a foot race as they ran. With Iris snatching Bride from his hands, and with Snorri casting a baleful hex on him, ensuring a lack of restful day sleep for quite a few months to come. Amir left without Bride in hand. It is still up in the air as to what will happen with Peel, but most of us are doing okay. And by most of us, I mean 3/5.
Well, half.
And that's basically what I can remember. Let me see if there's anything else. Nope, we're good.
All right, very good.
There was the one thing about at the very last moment, there was madness at the gates and a certain amount of like
Yes.
delirium taking place,
That's right.
which is exactly where we left off.
Yes. With that, I think we could move into what the scene that we are currently at. I think at this point, those who are such as Iris and Snorri, you can see in the distance a chaos happening at the gates, as the figures and the fighters that were there immediately either start running or start fighting harder. There is bloodshed and the sounds of combat and death wails. At which point, a figure steps forward. We then cut over to Gwynedd. Gwynedd, you can see stepping through the gates is a pale, almost blue-skinned figure that seems to be stepping through the carnage. His form radiates power in a way that you don't think you could describe or normally would even recognize. There's just something about him that is threatening, dangerous, as the figure steps forward. Currently, Sir Tancred is on the ground, slowly starting to pick himself up, while Sir Oliver has been pulled down from his horse and is now in the middle of a battle with Aemon. What would you like to do?
I'm certainly concerned about the new person arriving, but I also don't want Tancred to get back up and burn me with fire. So, can I try to get him again? Or are we out of that?
Would you like to get him, essentially?
I would.
All right, then. Make a flesh crafting roll.
Hopefully the rolls are better this time. Hopefully it's the last one up on my sheet. Let's see.
So play this one.
So I was rolling strength medicine, but now that I have body craft.
Yep, so you can use strength bodycraft.
Yes. This with a -2 difficulty, which I believe would be difficulty 7.
It's not coming up on my skills. I don't know if it's because I like.
You might have to.
enter it.
You might have to select professional skill 1.
Yeah.
Oh, tricky.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Oh my god.
Oh lordy.
Oh. Hang on.
That's not good.
That
Is that right?
doesn't look right.
Do you have a strength of 1?
Yes.
In that case, it may be right.
Okay, I think that is right.
Did the professional skill show up or no?
It didn't show up, but it rolled a dice. If it's got something in it,
Okay.
it's probably it. Value of 1.
Double check. Try music up a little. If it's too loud at some point, let me know.
It's like it's loud in Roll20, but on the stream it's like
Yeah. It's probably because
Yeah.
I personally have Roll20 turned down, so I might have to turn that up. There we go.
You gotta be extra fearsome when doing things in front of the Methuselah.
Alright.
yeah.
Yeah, a bodycraft of 1. Unfortunately, that is a botch.
Yep.
So as you reach forward to grab him, he essentially kicks at you and kicks you away from him. At which point he scampers to his feet. However, before either of you can act, a figure steps forward and a voice booms out. Halt! What do you do?
It's the scary figure.
Yes.
Can I get any kind of read on him, or should I use Auspex, or do I not need that?
You can use Allspex if you'd like on it.
I want to. Why not? Just botch everything today. Do it. And sorry, what am I rolling for Auspex?
Depending on the ability you're using, if you're using Orasight, you roll that. Which I think is Perception Empathy?
That
try
sounds
to
right.
read his
Difficulty 8. Let me double check.
Oh, like give me the
Yeah,
same
read the soul
information or
is-
different information?
Read the soul's the
Read the
same
soul.
thing.
Yeah. Read the soul.
So it's perception.
Empathy difficulty 8.
Is it a lower difficulty because it's 2 dots or no?
No, not with powers.
2 dots makes you, 2 dots makes you able to do it.
So that's pretty better.
1 success. find the ability. 1-9.
Baby.
Okay. With Scry the Soul. Whatever it's called. Read the Soul. I rename it every edition, so I don't know why I bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One success. You can confirm he is most definitely a vampire. His soul is as pale as you've ever seen one. It certainly shows that there is a strength to him that you have not seen ever. Other than that, because he's not attempting to really hide his emotions in any way, you can see that his aura is of an almost gold-like color. Which you would recognize as meaning taken by ecstasies. He seems to be very happy. Nonetheless, you also see, as he's seen his aura, you see another very pale, dark-stained aura that stands next to him. These large, terrifying stains that show someone whose soul has been marked by darkness and corruption. These stains are usually only consistent with souls that have committed the sin of Amarath, aka Diablerie, to consume another soul. Of course, then your vision changes back to your normal vision, and you see the one who is standing next to him is Randolph, holding what looks to be the body of Maud. You think it's the body of Maud, but it's hard to tell with how mauled it is, and the fact that it is missing half of its body and an arm. So Tancred himself seems to have frozen in either surprise or maybe fear. It's hard to tell.
Well, getting kicked off to the side, I think Gwyneth will, stand up and kind of dust himself off and address this new figure. I am Gwyneth, Prince of Peel. And who are you?
I am Magnus Odin's son of Odin, and I am the Lord of the Isle.
And he'll turn and kind of look at Randolph.
He rose from the ground, fought hordes of werewolves, and soon there'll be more. Whatever battle was being fought, a different one's being fought now.
You seem in concord with this Odinson.
I think there's an expression on his face, especially reading the aura. There's a struggle, not about his loyalties to Odin or to Peel, but about something else entirely. He's clutching Maud oddly, the only expression I would be comfortable giving is an animal if he thinks that something is about to be taken away from him, clutching him with that kind of security. There's higher brain functions have shifted within Randolph's mind as he goes, he is of my blood, and he is the strongest on the Isle. There's naught to be gained in fighting at the moment.
Well, you seem to have made a friend of my sheriff. What are your intentions for this city?
Retake what is mine.
And perhaps that can be done without conflict.
We'll have to see now, won't we?
Indeed.
At this point, you see Tancred is looking between you and him. And you see there's like a look like Tancred seems to be readying himself for something.
Randolph is 100%. He's been waiting to kill Tancred since the very moment he drew a blade against him. If there is a second that Randolph will use his terrifying supernatural speed, he's gonna take it and brutally put him down in a way that shows that very little human is within Randolph at this second.
Do you drop more?
Yeah.
Alright. There is a flash. Go ahead.
Can the talons do anything? They can't like pick anything up or move it. They can just melt into the shadows.
They can
Or is there a
affect the
way-
world because they can activate. You roll to activate the arms of Aramis. Because if you succeed, then
Yeah.
they can manipulate things.
Yeah, I
I just
think.
love Maud being moved with like little tentacles.
Yeah, that's the plan. Is for the arms of Ehrman to just move her away to safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know Randolph's super fast and he's gonna do a cool thing. But Gwyneth's gonna keep talking, and if he sees Tancred, like, deciding between targets, he's gonna say, may I introduce Sir Tancred of the city of Douglas, the leader of their, infernal cult. He came to, destroy us today.
I think with that, Randolph, why don't you roll for your attack?
I will be
Because
attacking...
there's a good chance this introduction happens and we just see Randolph stick like his claw into his face and just...
I will be attacking 7 times.
You only need to roll once. You can roll 7 times if you want.
7 successes to hit.
Yeah, roll damage. He doesn't see this coming, so he doesn't attempt to dodge.
That is 9 aggravated damage.
Yeah, so we just see as he like raises his hand and we see the flames begin to sputter before his face is torn open as Randolph's claw digs into it and then pulls back as we just see there's a cavity where his head was as his body collapses to the ground. Just a note, Randolph, he's not dead yet, but you can decide to kill him if you want to. He is in torpor.
Mine's hungrier than yours.
Alright.
He's dead.
You just see the head rip off from the body. And the body then falls to the ground and begins to rot as it turns back to ash, adjusting the time that it had taken. As the entropy returns, that was long since falled off by the blood.
Sorry, should have waited until the introductions were finished.
With that, Magnus just walks over and kicks the body as he does, it like crumbles away. I
We
see.
have 4 successes on arms of Armin, by the way.
Ah, perfect. Well, good to see that those of Douglas are dying like the dogs they are. As he crushes the body beneath his boot and the chest cavity caves in, turning to dust as it begins to fade away. And then turns to you, Gwyneth. So you are the one who have sat in my throne while I was gone?
For a short time.
A short time. And tell me, are you the reason this city seems to have grown fluent I last saw it?
I cannot take credit for everything that has happened in this city. I think most of the time you were gone, it was under the care of Father Collins.
Your father ruled this place. Interesting. As he looks around.
Not my father, but the shepherd of this city.
A shepherd? I would have hoped this place would be ruled by someone important. No matter. I'm back. So I'm just glad to see that things are still standing. Make sure that everything is ready for my arrival. It's time I take back what's mine. As he begins to step forward, pushing past you, not even giving you a second glance.
There are many things on Randolph's mind. How's Sir Oliver looking?
Sir Oliver has just finished essentially fighting with Eamon. You can see Eamon is currently standing, smiling from the side that you can see, but then he like turns his head and you see there's like a giant gash in his face where Sir Oliver's sword has collided and torn out the flesh. But he doesn't seem that affected by it.
Exactly. I think that's fine. Magnus walking away, fantastic. He will look to the prince, and I assume like Maud is being carried away.
Yes, we see shadows that have arisen and coiled around her body begin pulling her body off into the shadows, away from the sight of anyone else.
What happened to Maud?
He did. She fought him while the werewolves were circling. He attacked her, same as the rest. She lived, barely. But she'll live. She'll need enough blood to drown a small child, but she'll get it. Get back in business. Me, though. Something happened. Something changed. And I don't know how to feel about it. But all of Peel will be changing soon enough.
So it seems. Can Gwyneth actually, like, follow the shadows and, like, check on Maud, like, do some kind of medicine to, like, sew her up real quick or something? He
Make
just did it recently for himself, after all.
Perception alertness.
I don't think there's anything to sew up my
This
whole body.
would be difficulty. Yeah, this would be difficulty 8, but you can lower it by your dots in specs.
I mean, I didn't bring any of her bits because, you know, they turned to dust, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see where the shadows have pulled Maud's body off into like a corner of the side where the shadows have kind of coalesced around, hiding her from sight, but not your keen vision.
Yeah, so I think he would walk over and try to do something, like, with medicine to at least, like, sew her up a little bit of the pieces that are left.
I'd say as someone who is well-versed enough in medicine, you would know that there's nothing you can really do to heal a vampire that time won't do on its own. Time and blood.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything Maud needs right now, it's blood. However you get it into her body, she needs it now.
So I think, assuming that the tentacles are from Sister Iris, he would sort of
Should have soup.
try to soothe them a little as he Comes close, it's like a dog that's not yours. Like,
No.
all right, trying to help.
I think they're definitely hissing.
That's fair. We should go to my neighborhood of the city and get her the blood she needs. You can
We're
tell
in
me
the
more
middle
about
of a-
what's happened with you.
We're in the middle of a war zone, and soon more Garou will be coming. We need to regroup with the others. We'll find corpses on the way. I've got one now. And indeed, he will take one of the fallen soldiers by the leg, dragging it like a sack of meat, because to him, that's what they are at the moment. And if necessary, we'll open its throat above Maud. But he will say, I don't know quite what I'm... No, I do, in fact, and I feel that speaking to you, and if you can hear me, Sister Iris, you both will be important here. You had a demon inside you. So did I. I thought it was outside, but every time I strengthened myself to fight it, I was feeding it. It lives in me. It's not a demon. It's something older, something more powerful, something hungrier, and I don't quite know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going on. But I know that I'll do it well if I have to.
Alright, seeing this
Shadows are
breakdown,
making strange noises.
Gwyneth is fully gonna walk over and like try to embrace Randolph and be like, we'll work through this together.
Gwyneth, make me a courage roll. Difficulty 7.
Okay. And now he's scary now.
Mm-hmm. He's fun
He's still my
scary.
friend, though. He's still my friend. Difficulty 7.
Yeah, difficulty 7. Okay.
Oh, yay!
You managed to embrace him.
Hi.
Randolph, you could just bite down right now and get all the
I
blood
really
you could
could.
desire to feed the hunger within. But you have enough awareness of yourself to hold yourself back, should you choose to.
And I think Randolph does choose to. There are multiple forces warring within Randolph at the moment, but he's known Gwyneth, I think, for the longest of all of the Canaanites. They were in Wales together, in the castle of the Red Dragon. And as he is embraced, there's a moment where it's like he expects that an attack is coming, and his fingers sharpen into claws, but as soon as that happens, there's a juddering, almost like stop motion movement, jerking of his limbs, and one hand moves around, kind of holding tightly to the back, just reveling in some kind of closeness, a human connection, even as there is still such struggle on his face. I don't know what I'm becoming, but I know it's not going to be mine entire.
I'm sure there's something we can do. At least you're aware of it, and you retain some part of yourself still.
Yeah.
So is Oliver, is he just continuing to fight with the opposing forces? He didn't show
At this
any
point,
reaction
Oliver
when
has
Franklin was
begun a
killed?
retreat after essentially knocking Aemon back, but Aemon is still fighting with him. So Oliver is trying to get his men out of the city, but Aemon is harrying him and his forces.
All right. Just go into the city.
Yeah.
See what we may do.
Randolph, there's a part of him where, Randolph's caregiver nature is, corrupted briefly, and he, looks at the 7th gen that he knows is there, and is like, I bet I could feed that whole thing to Maud, and she'd be right as rain. No, we've got other things to do. As indeed, Sir Oliver is not a blood bag yet. Let's move.
Not today. So I'm not sure where Randolph is intending to go. Gwyneth is still thinking to go to his part of the city, where his herd is, get everybody back to full blood.
Randolph's instinct would be to go to the church, because that's where he thinks that Iris and Snorri would be.
All right. In that case, who's taking the body of Mort?
If we're splitting up, I'll take
You take
Maud
off.
to.
All right.
Randolph
get
already
blood
agreed.
here.
Hey, he's got potence, he's got celerity, and he's like, hey, come on, my little half a friend.
Turn
Let's
Tammy into
go.
a quarter of a friend, please.
I mean, he's gonna go where
No.
Maud goes, so if we're going to the church, then that's where we're going.
Alright. With that, you guys start making your way towards the church. Meanwhile, we cut back to Iris and Snorri. As you have just seen, there's some scuffles going on near the gates where everything seems to have picked up again when it was kind of quieted down. The battle continuing. What would you guys like to do? Bride's body is on the ground. Unconscious. Well, not unconscious, but dazed.
Yeah.
Snorri had turned towards Iris and requested for her to let's take Bride. I know where we can keep her and us safe.
What about the rest of them?
War is upon us. If you need to go save your people, I understand. But death is just another step in the cycle. I promised Maud I would protect Bride.
So did
The best
I.
way to do that is to hide her.
All right, I'll help you.
With that, he would scoop her up and head towards his domain and down into the crypts, into the burrows.
Alright then. Iris, what do you...
will follow.
You follow?
Iris will follow. Yeah. Like,
As you
just
guys-
take one look at the church and just silent little prayer before turning and following Snorri.
Alright then. As you guys making your way down the streets, there is a point where you find yourself coming across what looks to be a hooded figure that stands in your way. As we see the figure pull back their hoods, we see Sister Morana.
It's Nimorana.
I can't let you take her away.
We have to
Come
protect
with
her.
us,
No,
old friend.
you don't. She
Why?
is a blight upon our blood. A caitiff. She is too dangerous to be kept alive. Do you really think I
Cannot.
wouldn't be aware?
All things considered, it makes sense that you know. You know everything.
Well, this time it was actually much easier than I thought. I would never have known if you yourself hadn't have gone to them. Good thing I like to keep an eye on you when I can.
Whom?
You.
Well, I know me, but went to who?
When you went to the council meeting. You know
Oh.
that meeting I wasn't invited to, by the way.
I know.
So I recommend that you put her on the ground and go your own way. you can leave it to us. And as she sees that, you see figures removing their obfuscation as you see these horrific monsters. 2 that stand behind you. 2 that have climbed up on the walls and are currently like scaling them with their hands dug into the stone. As the 5 Nosferatu surround you, what would you like to do?
I cast Nocturne on them.
Sure.
Alright.
Manipulation occult difficulty 7.
Yeah. That is 3 successes.
3 successes.
If Abyss Mysticism is specialty counts. If not, then just 2.
Don't think in this case there's not an abyssal ritual.
Okay, then. Yeah, okay, then just 2 successes.
Alright then. Darkness erupts around you. With 3 successes, it expands. Yeah, I'm
It would
just
just be
gonna say
2.
all
9
around you.
meters. Oh,
Oh, 9
if just 2, then it'd be 6 meters in diameter with 2 successes.
Yeah. Then just a burst of darkness covers the scene, as you hear the snarling voice of Sister Verona yell, "Get them!"
So I can see.
Yes.
Assuming that this was right at the entrance, I think, Iris will shove her, into Snorri and say, "Run! I'll run back with her." And then just grab her and book it out,
Alright.
you know, with the cloud of smoke or darkness obscuring.
A choice
She's able
of
to see her way out.
yes, a choice of strength, athletics, or dexterity athletics.
Okay. Standard diff.
Yes, standard difficulty. You will be facing these Nosferatu.
I broke.
Oof.
Ah, no.
Alright then. Bounce roller. GM
It's like
roll.
as this darkness is like, yes, I can see so well in my darkness.
Trip.
Fuck.
He immediately runs into a wall, trips on a stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
You need glasses and they haven't been invented yet.
I'm telling you.
7 dice to 46. Yeah. So as you begin running, suddenly you feel this feeling of fists and body parts sticking into you and pushing against you, as you are punched and clawed at by several Nosferatu. Why don't you roll me a stamina roll against the following? Ooh, so that's actually 2 successes. So that will be 2 points of lethal you're up against.
Okay, and that's just a flat stamina roll?
Flat stamina, yeah.
Against 2?
Yes, against 2. So
Alright,
flat stamina,
I'll-
standard diff. Limpy is indeed one of them.
Alright. Can I spend willpower on this or not?
I'm not sure. I'll allow it.
Okay, I'll use 1.
One success. You
Alright,
take
that's
1 point
one
of
success.
lethal damage as one of these people claws into you, ripping apart at your clothing and digging into your flesh, leaving scars and marks. At this point, Snorri, what would you like to do as everything goes dark and you hear this whisper from Iris before you hear the sounds of thudding of something heavy against flesh?
Using his sight to see into the shadow realm instead of this inky blackness, going to bite into his tongue, announcing to Sister Marana, "Old friend, it does not have to be this way. If you insist, blood of your children, it will be on your hands." And he's doing the
Yep.
one action ritual to strengthen his bite for the next attack.
Sure thing. As your blood
Diving
begins,
into the fight.
to flow among your fangs and your mouth, what becomes a biting acidic poison. The blood of the Lamia burns all the unworthy. With that, Iris, you can now feel that you are surrounded by these creatures in the shadows, leaving you not much where you can run to, unless you want to try and knock through them. What would you like to do?
I think she will try to just lash out with the arms of Armin and try to just push them off of her.
Alright. Roll to activate your arms of armor.
Alright, and I'm spending a willpower on this one
Alright.
as well. So that is 3 successes if Abyss Mysticism, which I think it does in this case.
I think it would in this case.
Okay, so yeah, then 3 successes.
Alright.
Or wait. Yeah, because willpower.
Yep.
3 tentacles, baby.
3 tentacles. You have 3 tentacles. There are 4 that are around you. So you can either knock one of them away and then attempt to run, or you can knock 3 of them away.
Yeah, I'll knock 3 of them away and attempt to run.
Alright then. Make a roll for your arms of arms. And we'll do it so make 1 and we'll have that be for all.
Okay.
Just make this
So
easier.
we said that was potence, dexterity, and occult, or just dexterity and
It'd be dexterity and your celerity, and actually, it'd be your technically it'd be your strength, potence, and occult.
strength,
Strength,
potence,
potence,
okay.
and occult.
Oh, and occult?
What's
I
being
didn't-
rolled?
Arms
I
of
didn't roll
arms.
my occult. I just...
Yeah. The strength of the tentacles is equal to your obtenebration rating.
Oh, okay.
So you just roll your tenebration rating.
Okay, so that would be... Meow, 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 meow. So that's 3?
Yep. They would be actually difficulty 5 because they are attacking opponents that can't see them.
Okay. Roll 3... 10. So that's 3 successes.
3 successes.
If it's a
With that, there is a burst of shadow as these Nosferatu are knocked back. You can hear the sounds of something heavy colliding with stones. And you feel like you have a chance to run.
He does.
Alright. As you do, you can feel there seems to be one that's like behind you trying to reach out to grab you, that last one left. However, Snorri, what would you like to do?
When reaching for Iris,
Mhm.
does using his sight to look in the shadow realm, does it offer anything?
I'll say it does. You see like the wispy outline of what would be, or the faded outline of what would be a corpse. The spirit
He'll-
habits.
Right, he'll grab at it
All right.
which we were doing. We're using Brawl because the
Yes.
stats are messed up. Yep.
It'll be a strength. Well, we'll just do the strength roll, and we'll do it as if, and if that hits, we'll just have you roll damage. Just make it easier.
Okay.
All right. So Snorri. That be strength roll. 7 dice. Difficulty. This would be difficulty 7 because you can't quite see.
Potent supply.
Oh, is it, sorry?
Potent supply, since it's a strength roll.
Oh, yes. So that's actually 9.
Let's. Yeah. Go ahead and take those as auto successes.
Alright. So that's 7 dice with 2 auto successes.
Nice.
Alright. 5 successes. With that, why don't you roll me your damage, which will be... 3 plus 4
Plus 6 with the auto successes.
plus 6.
Plus 4 plus 6. So
No,
13.
3 plus 6.
3 plus 6.
Plus the double damage for the thing.
We'll just double the whatever successes you roll.
Okay.
Double the successes rather than
So-
the dice.
6 total or 9 total? I'm confused.
9 total.
It'd be 9 total.
Whew.
That is...
There's
6.
1, so
6, but also he has the expertise of bite. So the 10 to double.
10.
cool.
Indeed.
10, 20 points of aggravated damage as you tear into this guy's throat and ripping it out. The body begins to decompose. You did enough damage to kill him twice. He's dead.
And with that, his action after anybody else comes the next round, he'll keep attacking. Otherwise, he'll keep following Sister Iris, covering her back.
Alright then. With that, we cut to Sister Iris, who are running desperately to get out of the city.
Is
Why don't you make me a dexterity and athletics?
no successes. Jesus, I do need glasses for real, for real. Yes.
In fairness to Iris, she's a 19-year-old nun carrying a full person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right then. Alright then. So with that, as you're running out, eventually after some time, Snorri manages to catch up with you, and you guys begin making your way out of the city. With that, we're going to cut back to the church, in which we see Gwynedd and Randolph have arrived outside of the church to see that the door has been boarded.
Little pigs, little pigs. No. Does he see the
Wrong
shattered
context.
window?
Yeah, you would see the shadow window.
Someone tried to leave and leave at high speed. Glasses outwards. Do we go in or do we look around?
Why don't I take Maud and you can climb up to the window and see
Over
what you
my
can
dead
see?
body.
He like hands the like third of Maud, and I think very much sudden movements will look inside, glowing red eyes visible to anyone within the church as he
It's
looks
empty.
around, looking for a sign.
It is empty.
Not here. Randolph will leap off of the wall and land nimbly on his feet, and he'll go. They'll have left a trail. They always do.
Roll perception, survival.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna spend a willpower on this, because, hey, why not?
Why not?
Six successes.
6 successes. Your keen nose smells blood and catches onto the trail.
They were fighting K-Knights. This way.
As he follows Randolph doing what one of the things he does best, it wouldn't like use his brain meats to try and like figure out what could have happened, because it's like, well, we left Bride with Amir, and Amir is obviously our friend, but now Iris is also gone, and Bride and Amir. Like, I don't know what role that is, but it's like
I
ain't
think it's
right.
I think it's an odd conclusion to jump through from your perspective. So
Because
probably not.
Iris and Amir were potentially really close, and
It's also
Snorri
possible
knew
they could have
everyone
been
from
attacked.
beforehand. So there's a lot of variables at work here.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he would understand it.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's trying to. 'cause
I think
this is
mostly
weird,
what
obviously.
if there's anything you could guess, it seems like something might have happened. Maybe they were attacked or something. Something jumped through the window. However, they're not here, so it's hard to know what could have happened.
Okay.
Nonetheless, Randolph seems to have found a trail, and I assume begins following it.
Yes, very much so. Stalking... there is an instinct and impulse to stalk in a different way than his body is constructed, but he ignores that and moves on his feet. Like a vampire. He doesn't have 9 limbs.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You eventually find yourself arriving at what looks to be the sign of a battle, when you see like a wall has crumbled in, or it seems something heavy has been thrown against it, and on the ground there looks to be a body that is slowly turning to ash.
Marana's get.
I
I assume it
don't
looks
think
like
you would know that.
Nosferatu.
Uh,
Never mind. Never mind.
Make a
I assumed...
yeah.
Yeah.
It would be more of a wit's medicine, maybe.
Yeah, that's my bad, because I was like, it's a vampire, it's a Nosferatu, it looks ugly, but it's also turned into
Yeah.
dust. So I probably
Specifically,
wouldn't
yeah,
know.
because one of the things is when a
Should I
vampire
try it or you
dies.
feel good?
Yeah. Specifically because
3
when a vampire
successes.
dies, the reason it doesn't immediately endanger the masquerade is because they turn into like what look like a human skeleton.
Indeed. But yeah, that's my bad. I got 3 successes, though.
3 successes. It does seem to be a kindred, a K-Knight of some kind. You can kind of tell by like the slight fangs.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell exactly what it could be. Definitely one of the more bestial or monstrous of the kind. Other than that,
Exactly.
it's hard to know.
Attackers from Douglas, you think?
Hard to say.
They got out of it
Do
though.
I have time to like communicate with the land and try to figure out what happened?
Sure, absolutely. Make the roll. Chewing on the
Shadow
bone.
pull Maud away a little
Really
bit.
getting down to the marrow.
I don't remember what role that is. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I can't remember
What's-
that either. Coldonic stuff is my blind spot.
What's
It's
the
the first.
uh,
It's the first dot. Let's see. Perception and occult, I believe.
I think it was
It looks to
perception.
be, yeah. Khaldun spends a blood point, so to make the activation roll, and then and then it's perception. So yeah, blood point plus perception.
All right. 3 successes. As you focus in your vision and your power to call to the land, you can see here a fight happens between 2 figures. What looked like would be a beacon of light, but is covered in shadows that coalesce around them. And the other looks to be a walking corpse with what looks to be flowers growing out from its flesh. The other figures look to be hideous monsters that have attacked them, while the one wrapped in shadows seems desperately trying to protect what looks to be another figure that looks like what looks like a set of broken chains. The monsters tried to kill them. The beacon of shadow kind of wrapped shadows around them, pushed them away before running off. The corpse with flowers rips into one of these hideous monsters and kills one of them before disappearing, following after the beacon of light covered in shadows. That is what you see from your vision.
Oh. Okay, so from the sort of can he interpret like what those symbolic figures are? I mean, it's a good guess that the shadows are Iris, but
You can
would
make
you
that
say
assumption.
that you might know that? Okay. So he'll turn to Randolph and say, "Someone attacked Sister Iris, and she fled. You should find them."
Yeah. Let's follow the trail. We'll move faster than them.
Alright. I think with that we will cut to Snorri's home, the graveyard outside the city, as he ushers Iris into what looks to be a crypt, where Iris is carrying the body of Bride. With that, as you
Carry.
rush
Going
in,
across the threshold, as it were.
yeah, you
Yeah.
and I always.
as you are brought into what is like essentially the moving labyrinth that is the underground where Snorri lives, and you can see Snorri's ghoul,
Ingrid?
Ingrid, actively like pushes one of the stone walls that seems to slide to disguise the entranceway that you came through, to make it even more of a labyrinth of someone following you. But you seem to be safe for now. Maybe.
Morana's really smart. She wouldn't want to kill just anyone.
This one is a prophecy. My.
What?
I'm sworn to protect her. Nothing is going to happen to Bride.
Yes, I know. I owe it to Maud to do my best to protect the bride as well.
We will go deep into the crypts. I want you to stay with Ingrid. I will cover our back.
Okay. Are you sure you don't need me?
If we do come to battle, I absolutely will. At that point, Ingrid pull Bride deeper in the crypt. She knows them better than even I.
All right.
You can trust her, Iris. You will not let anything happen to Bride.
At the word trust, I think Iris just sort of stiffens a little bit and quirks an eyebrow, Vulcan style. And just... All right.
With that, they'll try to get deeper and deeper as they can, but at some point where he feels confident that they're in far enough to where if somebody gets that far, there's going to be a battle no matter what, and he'll try to pick a spot where Iris and him have the best chance to block the trail off.
Right. It's then as you are preparing, you hear the sounds of footsteps echoing through the halls. Something is getting closer. At that point, as you ready, you see a group of figures turn around one of the corners. Before you realize, you recognize them, seeing both Gwynedd and Randolph.
Come on.
And
And
Maud.
Maud. And Maud's Bobby. More like.
And I think Iris instinctively reaches out, and then shadows.
The shadows coalesce to you and respond with everything that has happened. You guys actually see the shadows pull away from you and then focus into Iris.
Indeed.
Oh no. Oh, that's awful. Ooh. Can I?
What's happened?
Take her.
Everything.
The situation
son.
has rapidly become untenable.
I know. I saw it all. Everything that happened. And then
What's
she'll
happened?
look at Randolph and just kind of recoil because she witnessed firsthand now essentially
Straight up.
everything that happened.
Including his explanation, no less.
Yeah.
And weird breakdown. And a twisted smile appears on his face, glad he's being feared, before that expression turns to confusion briefly, before he looks around as if hearing something that isn't there and goes, "This is one of the safest places to be, it would seem. The city, while still a war zone, will be under new management, I imagine, shortly, unless something very, very unusual occurs. And, well, it is a season for changes, it would seem."
Maud, would you like to roll me your stamina plus your survival?
Yeah, absolutely, I will. My stamina and survival?
This will be standard difficulty. You can add points in fortitude
Can
if you
do.
have them.
I do. Alright,
And-
so stamina, survival, standard diff.
Can Iris give
I
her
was just gonna
some
put
of
a
her
hand
blood?
on.
You can feed her your blood if you want to. Just know that it will
Yeah.
have the effects that has.
Oh no.
Gwyneth will put a hand
Hey,
on
you-
Randolph's shoulder as he sees him start to crack again, just like,
Let's have a look at survival.
Come on,
Here we are.
buddy.
Stamina, survival.
I'm good.
Fifth discipline.
What were you gonna say?
Yes.
Oh. I was going to say in an OC way, hey, you've got her weakened. You can bind her to you even closer. That wasn't in character, however.
Yeah, I know.
That's 0 successes.
0 successes. That is
Mhm.
unfortunate.
I think.
Yep.
How many points of
That's fine.
willpower do you have?
Oh, I have currently my temple power
Yeah,
3.
3. How many points of blood do you have?
I have 7.
I'm gonna say that's not enough yet. Unfortunately, you're still unconscious.
That's fine. Fair enough.
Continue the scene as you may.
Seeing Maud in this shape. Snorri versus should have not a lot, but a couple of vessels left of his herd.
There are a couple that are
So
in there with you. If you would like, you can describe what they look like, because I imagine they don't look entirely healthy.
no, they absolutely look like death is taking them over shortly. It kind of looks like a hospice in the Old West
Yeah.
with jaundiced
see-
bodies that are graying.
You could see, like, some of them, like, the hair has fallen out at this point. It's just patchy as you pull one of... I assume they actually are basically corpses. Or on the verge.
They're yeah, the blood is just barely fresh.
Yeah,
It is.
as it is brought into the room.
I bite them for mod.
Sure? Bite
Because
into one of the bodies.
His mod has
The
the thing
ragged
where...
bite is the least of this herd's
Yeah,
issues at the
Maud
moment,
can't
I'll be honest.
bite at the moment. You have to actually
Yeah.
feed it to her. Like, you have to, like,
Yeah.
cut open a hole and pour the blood into her.
There's definitely like stitched up areas. Like it wouldn't be hard to just peel some open. Like it's
Alright, well, Iris will try to do it in a very, humane way, and just...
Again, the big problem is through your fangs, not a lot of blood can spill forth, and it does so very slowly.
Alright.
Yeah,
In
you have
that
to
case, it's
rip away
something-
the flesh so the blood actually begins to flow forth. As you spill it into Maud's mouth. Maud, make me another stamina and survival, adding your fortitude.
Cool. Okay, is this something I could potentially spend a willpower on? Or am I not able to spend willpower while I'm unconscious?
You can if you would like, but just so you know, you need willpower to heal aggravated damage.
That's fine, I will not spend it then. Good to know, I just thought I would double check. Alright. That's 3 successes, much better this time.
Alright then. You can spend up to 3 points of willpower and up to 15 points of blood, 5 points per aggravated wound to heal.
Yep.
You just gained
Okay, so
5 points of blood. So you can
Yep,
heal
okay.
however many you would like to. Up to 3.
okay, so I gain 5 points of blood.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm at full blood currently. So it's 1 point of willpower, 5 points of blood per aggravated damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I will heal 2 points of aggravated.
Okay.
So that puts me very low for blood, and also still very low for willpower, but I am up.
Yeah, so
Hell
you watch
yes.
as the parts of Maud's body begins to move and regrow from where these terrifying claws have rendered her in two. You can see, like, part of her face is, like, returning from, like, flesh that had been torn away before Maud's eyes finally open. Maud, you realize, as you kind of look around, that you're now in a deep, dark, what looks to be a tomb of some sort, and you are missing your arm and an entire, like, half of your torso. Or more like a third of your torso.
All right. All right.
What happened?
The fight happened. Magnus woke up and attacked the werewolves and everyone. And we're, I suppose, running away, and we're trying to save Bride at the moment.
I think Maud kind of like tries as best she can while she's missing half her torso and her arm to kind of like, she tries to
Yeah.
instinctively sit up and have a look
I think-
around.
Iris does the whole like, let me
Yeah,
take
it's a-
care of you for once.
It's a very odd feeling, because your entire, weight has changed. Dramatically enough that it's moving is odd, because, you move more in one direction than the other. You can already feel, that weight on one side, and the other side being far too light.
Seeing
What
Yes.
happened?
Oh yeah, sorry, you go.
Go ahead, Drew.
seeing this Odd's reaction, Snorri will simply announce, "You will be okay. If time allows it. Pride will be okay no matter what."
Alright.
Then he looks towards Randolph and Gwyneth.
Randolph
management.
is. Oh, sorry, you go.
New management.
New management. The son of Odin claims the entire land, and he has the strength to do so.
What happened with Bride? I saw you were attacked.
We were.
Mirror is no. He seems.
Yeah.
There.
Did you kill him?
We tried.
Got away. It's what they know. A follower of Set.
Occult, intelligence, occult, difficulty 8.
Yep. Is this, I'm assuming, with dice penalties?
Yes, because you are, you're, everything
I am
sucks right
mold.
now. Everything
Who's
sucks
stupid to
right
think?
now.
Yeah, so is it intelligence, was it intelligence occult?
Intelligence
Yes.
occult.
Yep, difficulty...
8.
8, okay.
Yep.
Wound penalties, thankfully that's already activated. Somehow, 2
Hey.
successes.
Wow.
Hey.
All right. All of you have at least heard of the shadowy group among Cainite society that are often referred to as the Serpents. The Serpents themselves are infiltrators, sometimes assassins, and all-around nuisances for Cainite society. They seem to have their own belief around what Cainites are, and have some connection to a place that is far south, outside of Europe.
The prophecy even mentions serpents. Shame.
Snake in the garden, how fitting.
Snorri straightens. Do not know what you plan on doing about this new management. But
I personally think it could have been dealt with sooner.
Agreed.
She kind of glares at Randolph.
Yeah.
Here and
plan in her
now,
state.
are you certain you wish to begin this?
Maud,
You have seen what lurks within me.
Maud,
Down.
But it's like
you
trying to
make me-
reach for
yeah.
Randolph's shoulder again, like, stand down, stand down, Randolph.
Mm-hmm.
Maud, make me a wits and enigmas roll.
What's enigmas? Can do.
Difficulty 7.
Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I do have enigmas. Wits enigmas difficulty 7.
Yep.
All right.
Please, please, please.
One success.
Oh, yeah.
Once.
Help.
Something about about Randolph has changed. There's something
Mhm.
dark about him. Something vile. You feel it in your soul, in your connection to the very spirits themselves. Something about him is wrong.
I think seeing Randolph's reaction and her current state, she backs off for now, but she's certainly kind of like the jaw is very clenched, and she is not meeting his gaze.
Seeing that fear, there's
It's
something
not
that
necessarily
occurs to
fear.
seeing the caution, the wariness. There's
Anger.
something that occurs to Randolph, and he's looking at all of his companions like they might be food. That's normal. That's good. But there's a deep sickness within him because he is completely full, and the blood of that infirm person who has been on death's door for what may in fact be years now is unspeakably appetizing to him. And that is odd because he is not hungry, and that is not good eating. He looks around with a brief burst of clarity and goes, I shouldn't be here. This isn't safe.
Randolph,
Snorri.
please leave and watch for Sister Marana. She attacked us on the way in.
Cleaning up loose ends, as like her.
Mhm.
I don't know that I'll come back.
I understand.
I don't know that I will be here. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee you I will not.
Mm.
I'll do my best, but I feel the same.
We agree.
You're leaving the city.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I am going to offer Maud and Bride. Maud, you will need time to heal. I promised you I would protect Bride. My people can protect you both. If any of the rest of you would like to join me, you are welcome to until you cross us.
Are
We
you
are
leaving
leaving
the
this
island?
island. Yes.
I don't know if I can.
I hope you can. With that, he will head towards Maud, very gingerly, carefully try to lift her, before not
Fine.
trying to take her from anybody. But he's very set about turning and continuing to flee down the crypts.
Or at the very least, follow you to the water.
Nods. And as he's heading into the tunnels further, he looks over his shoulder towards Gwyneth. Gwyneth, whatever it is worth, it was never personal.
I know. Thank you for your help.
Randolph, you were a good friend. Well, you were. I hope whatever this is, I know you'll do the right thing.
And what is that? What is the right thing? I always
think-
knew, I think, deep down, and yet never quite, yes, had the courage to, what, embrace it? Run from
We are.
it? What's brave? What's good? What's right?
It's different for
I
everyone.
know.
We all have our demons inside of us, and we all fight them in our own personal ways. Every struggle is different. But rising up, knowing when we've made mistakes and owning them. For what it's worth, I believe in you. Even
I will
now.
not be coming back one way or the other, but there is another way. But I don't know if that's right either.
Randolph.
It's a sin, Sister Iris. It's a sin.
Calm yourself, Randolph. It is. But it is the best option you have.
As a note, as this
Teo
conversation.
absolvo.
Go ahead, Drew.
Sorry about that, Rebecca.
No, you're
As
fine.
this is continuing, Snorri is simply walking away with Maud. He's not waiting
No,
for this to play out.
I-
He's done.
Yeah, as
I think
Iris
Maud would refuse to
crosses.
leave as best she can.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
at least not until Iris is coming with them as well.
As Iris does the sign, thinks to reach out and tap him on the shoulder, but I'm gonna roll. But I already think that she probably won't be able to. Alright, shit. She just gently touches the shoulder. Says, "You will do the right thing."
I
You-
think for the second. Oh, sorry, you go.
You stood against me. You talked me down whenever I needed it. I hope to give you the same courage.
I think for the second time in, well, basically the same hour, someone has gone up to this dangerously unstable individual, harboring within him a spirit of corruption and hunger, and like fought back the obvious wariness that one would have to embrace him and show him like simple human kindness. And that's wild to Randolph and the thing that is gestating within him. And I think it sets him on a specific path. We will see where it leads him as he gives Sister Iris a nod, and his eyes, then his head, in like a strange, like tracking motion, turn to Prince Gwyneth and says, "I like being sheriff. I like doing this with you. It's good."
Not going anywhere, Randolph. You're a very good sheriff. You killed Tancred. Gwyneth turns
God,
to
he
the
was
other.
a prick.
Killed Sir Tancred. It's no small accomplishment.
I think maybe I might have one more hunt in me. One more. Or an infinity stretching out forever. See which one. Goodbye.
You know where to find me.
hope I don't. I hope I don't. I wish I could, but I hope I don't.
Iris will nod and follow the other two, giving a small nod to Gwyneth before she leaves and saying, I know we had our differences. I really was on your side the whole
There
time.
you are. I'll stay and look after Father Collins.
I might still be here. We'll see if I'm brave enough to not be.
You know where to find me as well.
And she'll bow her head and follow after Maud.
I think Maud kind of like silently nods at Gwynedd as well. Not particularly like conscious or aware enough to form much in the way of conversation at the moment, but just kind of giving him the firmest nod that she can muster before likely being carried off.
And I think Randolph will slink the opposite direction. He will move towards the entrance of the catacombs, and he will do some thinking. And thinking in this case does involve a little bit of murder. So I wish Nosferatu would. But he is considering his path because there isn't just one option, there is another route to take. And he spent his entire life, even from a very young age, just trying to eke out an existence, trying to survive amidst very harsh conditions. And this is a pretty harsh condition. You'd think he'd be used to it. But him surviving means quite a different thing, because he knows what is born within him, and he knows what he's been feeding, and he knows it'll never be full, because he never is. So he's just considering. And again, maybe doing murder if it comes by.
I think with that, as we see you turn around, actually before that, is Gwynedd going the same way that Randolph is to exit the catacombs?
I feel like Randolph's made it pretty clear he needs alone time. Gwyneth will probably quietly escort the group that's leaving, especially since he still has his water shield in case they're attacked on the way out. So
All right.
make sure they get safely where they're going.
I think it then is for that as you guys are beginning to make your way. We see Randolph making his way in the opposite direction, leaving the catacombs, and for you, Maud, you turn back one last time to look at him, and you hear a voice you haven't heard in a very long time. The whispers of the spirits of the Isle. As a whisper reaches your ear, the vessel of the Devourer approaches, child of the King of Beasts. With that, the vision that had previously consumed your senses returns, as you look back to see the form of the desiccated corpse wandering away. The corpse that you did see arise upon the hill, its fanged maw opening as blood flowed from the land. The land itself begins to die, drained of life. As the whisper returned, it has the potential to consume and destroy everything. A vessel, a tool, a monster, a hunger. And you see in your mind's eye that vision reveal itself completely to show the form of Randolph, the desiccated corpse, the child of the king of beasts, and now the vessel of the great devourer. Under your nose this whole time, a being that will bring ruin to all, the being you could not stop. We then see Randolph fade away into the shadows, disappearing into the night. The four of you then arrive at the exit to the catacombs towards the shore, where boats are on standby.
Snorri, having had these paired for quite some time, would nod to Ingrid, and as Pride is being directed into one of the boats, would gently place Maud into the same boat, and then turn towards Sister Iris. Quirks an eyebrow. There is something we can do for you. Make this easier. I will. I will not tarry long. This is too important.
It
You're welcome.
hurts.
Iris.
Maud.
I don't want to leave you here. If you can't go, then I won't.
I don't want to leave you either.
What's... But...
If there's a way that I can do this.
Do you give me permission to put you into torpid sleep?
Yes. Wait.
With that,
Can Maud do it?
does Maud have one arm?
Yeah, Maud may not be capable
Yeah, I have
for it.
one arm.
She only has one arm.
I have one
Okay,
arm and
okay.
half a body.
Is
So
she
I
able-
will. I
expecting
will.
too
No, no, no.
much.
This is a
Everybody
can
shush. I got
can
this.
mod. Okay.
Got this. Got this. Snorri. It's a bit of a grin on his face as he turns towards the boat to pick Maud's form up. Only the camera would see it, and maybe Ingrid, as he wraps her hand around an ivory-boned, covered-handled stake. And he goes up and wraps her hand around it, holding her form tight to his body. And taking her over. This might hurt. He smiles to you, Iris, with a bit of glee that you've never seen in him.
And I think
takes Maud's
I think
hand-
right
go
before
ahead.
that happened, she just looks into Maud's eyes and says, "I know," and a small smile. Anything?
Sorry.
Oh, she's just sort of hesitating and saying like, "It's gonna be a long trip. Should anything you want to say to me before we leave?" And then like almost like half joking, just as a well,
Yep.
and then she'll nod to Snorri.
Oh, before the nod even comes, as anything
Yeah.
you want to say before,
Yeah.
hand is thrust forward with like
Okay.
strength, just boom.
Through the heart.
And I
One
think
fluid
there's that
motion.
small shadow of a smile like the most you ever see her smile when she's being genuine. It's just sort of frozen in place.
With that, he will carry Maud back to the boat and then carefully pick up Iris, carry her back to it, and nod to Ingrid. Turns over to look at Gwynedd as all this is happening. The other boats will be here. Should you change your mind? Farewell,
Thank you.
Prince. Nod, he will pull into the covered up section of the boat for the long journey, helping Ingrid push off before doing so, pulling away from the Isle of Man.
With that, we cut to Gwyned's perspective as he watches the ship begin to sail off into the distance, catching the waves that pull it further and further away from the isle. Set course for lands unknown. What do we see from Gwynedd as he's alone on the shore? Any thoughts that go through his mind? Any things of note?
I mean, I think Gwen is like, he's just really sad right now because, like, not only is like the entire council leaving, but like Randolph, who is like one of his oldest friends, is, you know, off on a scary journey, and yeah, and now it's just him dealing with like a monster. Father Collins is still somewhere asleep, you know. And apparently Marana is an enemy now, like openly. So yeah. It's gonna be interesting. But you know, I think there's a little bit of peace as he sees them sail away safely, and then he's just like, his brain's just going like, okay, so how are we gonna deal with this? What's the next thing? Like,
Alright, then. I think with that, we're going to continue to follow Gwyned's perspective, as Gwynedd eventually returns to the city. See that things have calmed down. The army has returned to the city, and continues to protect it. And it does not seem the city is under attack. As you make your way in, you begin to hear the whispers, and the rumors begin to spread, that the king of the Isle, Olaf, after losing the battle, has fled. The island itself, for the moment, is left without a king. There are conversations on whether the city itself will surrender to the Scottish forces that will harry it, and whether or not it will find itself under occupation. Nonetheless, you make your way forward, arriving at what looks to be the throne room that the king would preside in. Except Olaf the Black does not sit upon his throne. No, instead the large form of Magnus sits upon the creaking wood with a smile. You've returned. I do not see the others you were with.
no, they have chosen to go elsewhere.
A shame.
I agree.
Well then. You were the former leader of the city, right? What word did you use?
Correct.
Prince.
Prince.
Well, you have done well in my stead. But I think it is time that I return control to myself. Do you have an issue with that? As he leans forward.
I do not.
Good. The Jarl of the Isle of Man has returned. And soon enough we will bring all under our unity. I'm glad to see the lion has not returned. He was such a nuisance. Even in the times we had peace. But it's no matter. It is time that this isle is taken back by its rightful people. Well then, seems there is still much to do. As he stands up, round up all who are within the city. Bring them forth. They will kneel and swear fealty, or they will be removed. You see him still stretching.
As you command.
Ah. I'm looking forward to this new chapter. With that, we cut as Gwynedd steps out of the chamber. Is there anything else we would like to see of Gwynedd at these moments? What Gwynedd is up to next, his thoughts, or anything like that?
Gwyneth definitely wants to check on his own childer and his own herd, and once he makes sure they're okay, then he'll make his way around the city.
All right.
Hopefully not getting ambushed by Nosferatu and letting people know what Magnus expects.
Right. So, some things to note. Judas does not return to the city.
Good.
Oswald does not return to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Amir does not return to the city.
I wouldn't either if I were him.
Bride is gone. Lord Elijah does not return.
Gee.
Sister
Kelsa
Morana
praise.
does not return.
That we
I'm going to
thought
make
of.
an executive decision and say Randolph doesn't return, and we will get into that later.
Indeed.
What about Captain Blackwood?
Moore does not
But
return.
Lily returns. I see her.
Yeah, she's just here.
Aw.
Gwynedd moves to the capital.
This is your way to call the numbers.
Your childer, Morgan, is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Leowyn is still here, though. Ever the loyal childer he is.
Yeah.
Captain Edmund. He returns to the city. And after you tell him that there is a new Jarl, as it were, he just sighs and shakes his head. Back to this, we see. The War of Princes isn't over. Not by a long shot.
Never is.
As continues the jihad. Of course, I say that word because it's a vampire term. He probably uses something that makes more sense for the setting he is in.
I must see a secret Epilogue.
No. What a twist. No. With that, Gwynedd, you find yourself essentially having to rebuild the city from scratch in terms of its kindred population. However, eventually there is an arrival of a number of new kindred, several of which travel from Scandinavia and Norway. Originally, they came here to take the Isle back from the population has taken it, but once they find that Magnus, Odin's son, has awoken, they swear fealty to him and join the city. Returning some of the population. Over time, the population begins to grow, as does the population of Canaanites. Unfortunately, with the King of the Isle being gone, the city is occupied by the Scottish forces. The king in exile plots his plans from Norway, but it may be some time before he makes his return. Until then, Steward is placed in charge of the Isle, at least for mortal capabilities. For Canaanites, it's pretty much business as usual. With that, we are going to move over to the perspective of Randolph. What would Randolph have done as soon as he left the crypt? Where was he off to next? Did he have a path in mind, or was he simply stumbling his way around?
I think he was stumbling his way around for the most part, but he would find himself moving with a destination in mind. I think when he first came to the Isles, there was a hill near a mountain that he went upon to look upon the grounds that would become his hunting fields. And I think... No. First he goes to the cemetery. It's been so long. She was elderly when she died, but it's still a couple of decades. And he certainly hadn't been tending to it. But he remembers exactly where his daughter, who died at a ripe old age, having been kidnapped as a young child, is buried. And I think that part of him that is human, for lack of a better word, looks at it, fangs clicking together, grinding within his teeth. And I think he speaks, with no one there but his raven, for company, and he's gonna say, I came here to kill something big. Something that had always been within me, surrounding me. I wanted to do something more than be something, an empty space that took things out as well. I wanted to be remembered for something more than a gaping pit. Something that could be tracked only by what was missing. I don't think I succeeded. I don't think I will succeed. He looks and he talks now to his bird and he says, it's gonna be difficult. I don't know what's gonna happen to you. I hope you make it. I hope you kill something big and eat well off of it. But I don't think you can follow me where I'm going. If you wanna, let's go. And I think then he will begin his meandering journey to the hill. Because a creature like Randolph, a creature like any vampire, but particularly that of the gangrel, does not die easily. He has so many ways to survive, so many ways to keep on going until the next night and the next night, until eternity. there are very few things that can put him down and put him down for good. And there are very few things that can do that without him willingly standing next to it. But he thinks he's up to it. He is a survivor, but he was something else before he was that. He was a husband. He was a father. And before he was a monster, he was still pretty good at hunting. But that wasn't all he was. I think with frenetic motions that anyone looking at couldn't confuse for anything but that of a monster, he grabs a branch of a tree that is growing on that hill and shatters. Oops, sorry, Lily. Shatters a great section off of that tree, and I think taking a knife out in a motion so graceful, so inhuman, so sickening, he is going to sit upon that hill cross-legged, and he is going to carve a little effigy. I think deep within his mind, the part of him that is not a kindred, the part of him that is not following the road of the beast, he's going to try and remember what his wife and child look like. He's going to try to replicate it. And that task in his mind, occupying his focus, he thinks it's going to give him enough time and focus to avoid the easy out of melding into the earth when he knows dawn approaches. He knows exactly when it will. He measures it intensely every season, every year. He knows when it comes. He knows he can avoid it. But he really, really, really wants to kill the thing inside him, and this seems the best way to do it. And he wants to die as himself.
Courage roll. This is going to be difficulty 9.
I would like to spend a willpower point, Mark.
You can spend a point of willpower. I can tell you this: the beast does
Let's
not want
see
you
how-
to die. The beast
The
wants
beast
to
does
live.
not want me to die. Look, normally the beast and I have a really great working relationship, but in this... Alright, spending the point of willpower, rolling courage, difficulty 9. That is 1 success even without the willpower. It becomes 2.
2 successes is just what you needed. If you had rolled any less, you would have molded into the earth as the sun came up. But we watch as the sun begins to rise. But even as it does, we see Randolph is just still there, carving into the earth. 2 figures. A woman and a child. As we watch him carving, we see as the light begins to touch his skin, his flesh begins to sear and burn. We watch as skin melts away to muscle and muscle give way to bone. As we see his entire figure alight as flame and ash begins to expand upwards, flowing off of him. We hear this horrific screaming erupting from him, but it is not Randolph that screams. It is something deep within him, desperate to survive. But Randolph continues to carve into the ground. A final memory of Randolph the man, carving away. We see a smile on his lips before his lips begin to burn away into ash, leaving behind Fang's skeleton that continues to burn as well. We watch as the body collapses inward from the heat, no longer able to hold itself up, leaving behind a stick in the earth and a pile of ash that slowly begins to crumble as the flames die down. We then watch as the wind blows away the ashes into the air, scattering it amongst the forest and the wilds. We see a bright sun shining down upon this beautiful piece of art. Morning has broken. With this, we focus on the scene. The end of Randolph, who, unbeknownst to anyone, and to all, may not be remembered in history, but will be remembered in the hearts of those that called him friend, and in the spirits that have witnessed the life There lies Randolph, the last of the White Howler bloodline. With that, we move to a boat, sailing across harsh seas. We see night and day pass over and over and over again, before eventually they land on a foreign shore. The boat itself is brought onto the land. We hear people speaking what sounds to be a foreign language. Men and women of much deeper, darker skin than those of the Isle of Man. As the boat itself is brought into a long, ancient crypt. We watch as the figures are brought out, brought deeper into the catacombs. It is here that perhaps they will find what they're looking for. Safety from the enemies that hunt them. But we'll have to find out about that another night. But we find ourselves returning to the Isle of Man. To Gwynedd. As he stands looking out upon the city. The last one left. The one that stands tall. Is it at that moment there is a whisper from behind you? All of this could have been prevented. It would have been so easy. Instead, you let your pride get in the way. I hope it burns you. I hope you relive this time over and over in your mind. I hope the guilt eats you from within. But you could have prevented everything. Chose not to.
I'm sure you'll remind me, even if I do forget.
Oh, for eternity I will.
Yes.
That the spirit, the demon, fades behind you. Always there, but hidden from sight. It is with that we look up towards the moon above us. We focus upon one last scene. Traveling back to the time just after the battlefield had been emptied of soldiers. As we see a figure on the ground of a dark-haired woman, dead a warrior of Nordic ancient blood, of which the wolf's spirit was within, but has abandoned. We see a number of figures step out, each of them dressed in Nordic regalia, before one of them steps forward from amongst them. It is the figure of Harold Draugrsbane, as he looks down upon his fallen comrade. He looks down upon Rorik, kneeling as he moves to cradle her body. Tears well in his eyes as he looks down upon her. What have they done to you, Rorik? I promise you, sister, I will make sure they pay. I will kill every single one of them and burn their city to ashes. They will all die. Every single one of them. No one will be spared from our wrath, from your vengeance. As he stands, we see he wipes the tears, as his eyes of sadness resolute into pure rage. It's time. We will prepare for what is to come. This will be the last battle upon this isle against the vile Draugr. Against the cursed children of Odin. We will bring them their end. We will bring them Ragnarok. With that, there is a howl that escapes from the battlefield, all together as they call out to the spirit of their fallen comrade, resolute in what is to come next, in the blood that will be drawn, in the death that will be brought, where they will stand as one and slaughter the enemies of the Fenrir. The Isle of Ragnarok is born. And next we will have to see how the war to end all wars will go. But as it is now, the saga of the Isle of Damned comes to an end. The spirit that would consume all has been defeated. For now. Unfortunately, you cannot kill such powerful spirits as you can kill immortals. For they are something deeper. But whatever plans it has does assuaged for now, and the Isle will see peace. At least for the moment. That is until Ragnarok. It is with that our chapter comes to an end. And it is with that I would like to say thank you to all our viewers who has watched us, hopefully all this time. But if you have joined us for even just this episode, thank you. Every person that can get enjoyment out of this means that I have made the right decision.
Very much so.
And yeah, with that, looking at the time, I think this is a perfect place to end it. So let's do some outros. With that, let's start off with Mars. Why don't you give us your final intro for this saga? or this chapter of the
Oh
saga.
boy. Hello and goodbye, everyone. I have been Mars playing Maud, the Valkyrie Aramanes. It has been absolutely fantastic. uh,
Yeah.
Wonderful. With that, up next, Thomas, why don't you give us your final outro for the chapter?
Hello, everyone, and goodbye. I have been Thomas, and I have been playing for the final time Randolph of Clan Gangrel. Father, husband, hunter, avatar of the Great Devourer. It's been a delight playing him, and I wanted to thank you, Mark, for giving him such a beautiful send-off. That was delightful.
Thank you for playing such a lovely character.
Yes, that's me.
Up next, to the former Prince of Peel, Blue, why don't you give us your final outro for the chapter?
Hello, everyone. I am Blue, and I have been Gwyneth, once Prince, now just Gwyneth. Hopefully, coming into his court jester era. That's my wish for him. Thomas, how
Absolutely.
dare you? I love all of you. I'm
I'm
gonna miss your
sorry.
characters so much, but luckily we still get to play together. So
Absolutely. All right then. Up next, Drew, why don't you give us your final outro for this chapter?
Hi everybody, I'm Drew. It's been an absolute pleasure being part of this chapter, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Snorri has succeeded in his offshoot mission that he created for himself to save Bride and get her to people, the Lamia, and we'll be interested to see where that story ends up, as well as where the next chapter of this book goes.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least, Rebecca, why don't you give us your final outro for this chapter of our saga?
Hi, well, I am Rebecca, and I played Sister Iris, no longer keeper. But you know, certainly something as she comes out of torpor at some point. Definitely will be keeping close tabs on the city and lending aid where possible. But we've got time to figure out how whatever she does going forward. But yes, I suppose that's all there is to say about what's going on with Iris.
Wonderful. And with that, I have been me, Mark, aka the CatsMeow, your storyteller for this chapter of the Saga of the Isle of Man. I hope you will join us for the next chapter as we explore the Isle of Ragnarok. There will also perhaps be some other offshoot, perhaps games that might explain other bits of the story, such as what happened to some of the characters that you might not see during the next chapter. But we will have to see how things go there. I also run House of Tremere that runs on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. EST. Check us out. Lots of fun stuff on there. There's also perhaps some sneaky little hidden references to this game in that game. And perhaps even vice versa. You'll have to see. Other than that, I have a bunch of new projects that I will be excited to announce very soon for new and different games within this universe, and perhaps also outside of it. But until then, we will have to close the book on this adventure and place it upon our lovely shelf of stories and tales from the world of darkness. I think it is with that. We wish you all well. Hope you have enjoyed this lovely game of ours. I can say it has been an absolute pleasure running for my lovely players and for our lovely audience that watch when they can. Yeah. Anything else anyone would like to say? Any other shout outs or other stuff?
Ooh, anything?
Nothing on my end, but I wanted to say that it's been an absolute delight playing. Thank you for watching as well, and thank you, Mark, for running.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you,
Alright.
Mark.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you, Mark.
You guys are very welcome. I think with that, we'll do a raid out. Why not? Let's do a
Ooh.
raid out. Let's look at
As we're figuring out who to raid, I can just say, hey, watch Pendragon streams Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday on Ticking Time Bob Gaming. You'll see half of us on there at any given time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we are
Also, I
going
saw
to
what you
raid.
put in Twitch chat.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna
She
raid
definitely was.
TTRP RPG with DBJ. So we're gonna
Hell
say
yeah.
hi.
City, BB, let's go.
Wait, the American president?
I don't think so.
That's LBJ.
DBJ, not DTJ.
DBJ. Alright.
That makes
I
sense.
thought you were talking about LBJ.
That's who I was thinking of.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Alright then. Thank you
Only
for
we
joining
could
us.
go back in time.
We hope you've had a wonderful time. And until next time, be sure that you, when it comes late, that you bundle yourself up in bed, be nice and warm. Because no, even despite that there are monsters out there, there are also those who are kind enough to aid those when they truly need it. Good night.
Night, bye.
Night.
You bitch making me cry.
Bye.
I'll kill